Welcome back, YouTube. Today we are talking about Andre Reynaud Yanyuk's brand new game, The Bazaar. After a very successful Hearthstone career, Yanyuk has finally released his game, The Bazaar. So let's go ahead and take a first impression review of this game, shall we?
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
I have just found out about this game yesterday, and I am super glad that I did because it is a very fun title, and I think this one has a bright future. I was able to get into the closed beta because I actually know one of the devs, but you can also get into the closed beta if you so choose with a little bit of your hard-earned money. Now, what is The Bazaar? The Bazaar is an asynchronous auto battler. If you're familiar with the game Backpack Battles, this game is going to be very similar to that, being an auto battler. You also face other players as you make your way through the game. But this one is actually more of a deck builder as opposed to an inventory management simulator, a lot like Backpack Battles is. So how does this game work? Well, as you first start out with your chosen character, you have a selection to make. That selection is what you're going to start your battles with, essentially. As it goes through each one of the days that you go through, you're going to be faced with basically 6 different events. 2 of those events are going to be kind of choose your own adventure kind of thing. It could be something random where you go and guard a caravan and you can get some reward for it. Or it could just be a food eating contest where you can get some items that increase your health. Some of these will also give you free items. Other ones are going to be how you round out all of your equipment as time moves on, because the different vendors are going to offer you different things. Now, these vendors are also there to help you upgrade your current deck and to make sure that you become more combat effective as you make your way through every day of the game. One of the things that Backpack Battles didn't have that this one has is these PvE fights that actually help you round out your characters. I think it's pretty fascinating that they have these in here because it adds a little bit more interaction with the game, and it also gives you the option to kind of make different builds as time presses on. So you might be focusing on that particular enemy, but you may not end up, unfortunately, getting the item you're looking for. So it's always kind of a crapshoot, as it were. Now, it's still pretty cool because this is something that you can do regardless, and honestly, it adds a lot of fun to the game because you might have to pivot away from what you might have ideas of making your build in that moment. As you get through the days, obviously, the PvE monsters are going to get more impressive and more difficult to kill, just like your eventual PvP opponents are at the end of the days. So as you go through 2 more events after the PvE encounter, you're going to finally get to the penultimate PvP encounter for that day. Now, this is another place where this game really shines because it's really neat that you can walk away from this game at any point in time, being an asynchronous auto battler. What you're doing is you're fighting an impression that is left by another player who has been playing this game within the last few hours. So just because something comes up in life and you have to walk away from your computer, your run's not dead, and you can always come back whenever you want to pick up where you left off. That is one of the things I love about these kind of games. It really does give it accessibility to anyone out there. If you live a really busy schedule, you can sit down for a few, go through a couple events, do your PvE battle, and then walk away and come back later and pick right back up where you left off. I think this is definitely the future of gaming as well in a lot of cases. A lot of people don't have the time to sit down and put all of this time into the games whenever they want to, and being able to, pick up and go away, take care of things that they need to take care of, and then come back and, do exactly what they meant to anyway, that's a really cool thing in gaming, in my opinion. This is a game where you're going to have to think on your toes, and you're really going to have to put in a lot of effort to really understand all the different events, all the different vendors, so that you know where you're going is going to maximize what you're trying to do. Now, the downside right now of combat, whether it's the PvE or the PvP, is that you unfortunately can't see exactly what's happening all the time in terms of what is the enemy doing to damage me and what is making their build effective or not against me. As of right now, there is no replay feature, but that is something that they do plan on adding as time marches on. It's definitely super helpful because then you'll at least have a grasp of, okay, this is what my build is doing right now. I know that I should avoid builds like this if possible in the future. Now, is that something you're going to be able to do with PvP? Absolutely not, because that is a complete crapshoot. However, the PvE monsters do have their own kind of setups, their own kind of like build structures, and they're going to be consistent every time you play through the game. So one time you play through, you might have a build that's just absolutely crushing everything except that one build you don't want to face. So that is what you can expect from the main gameplay loop of The Bazaar. It is a deck builder that you constantly go through trying to improve your build, looking to pivot if you think that you need to pivot into something new because what you're currently going for isn't effective, and constantly outthinking what your potential opponents might be doing. There is currently a roster of 3 different characters, all with multiple variable build options. I think that's really cool because you can take any one of these 3 characters and definitely not play it the same as you did your last run. There are other characters that they will be releasing in the future, but I'm not really sure what that looks like right now as their current roadmap is pretty generalistic. If you do decide to pick up the game, you're only going to have access to one of the characters, much like I do right now. and you can always unlock them naturally. As you make your way through the game, you can earn tickets from standard play. If you get through 10 wins in a standard playthrough, you get a ticket. Now with that ticket, you can play ranked mode. When you go into ranked mode, you can get a chest at 3, 6, and 10 wins. Now what those chests do is that they unlock some items that are kind of for vanity, and it also gives you that currency that you can currently buy in the game with a microtransaction. So if you are impatient and you don't want to mess around with just one character for a while and learn it as much as you can always drop some of your money just to open up the other 2 characters as quickly as possible. So don't worry, you're not going to be paying a bunch of extra money just to be able to get these other characters open. You will be able to unlock them naturally if you love the game enough to play it a whole ton, much like I'm probably going to be doing. To get a little bit back to the roadmap that I mentioned before, as of right now, the only thing they have listed is that they plan on having a full open beta starting in December. That is something that you can currently go and sign up for, and maybe you can get access to as they release it on the turn of the month next month. Other than that, they're looking at a worldwide full release for the game in January of 2025. They have all the intentions in the world of making that full release so that everyone everywhere will have access to it. It is to be noted that they do have their own launcher. This isn't a game that you can pick up on Steam. You will have to go to their website and get their very own launcher to make sure that you can play this game. And they've also announced that they would like to actually have this on mobile next year as well, with the caveat being that it comes in the first half of 2025. As stated, there will be other characters that they're going to release eventually, but that hasn't been released yet. We don't really know when to expect those, but I do think that they will be doing a very good job of making sure that this stuff comes out on a timely manner and that people can expect it, and I'm sure that they will be very upfront with this information as they get it figured out themselves. So I think we have a lot to look forward to with the Bazaar, everybody. If this is a game that you followed over the last 6 years of its development, I have no doubt in my mind that you're probably incredibly excited to see what this one's going to do. Hell, me just finding out about this yesterday and playing it for about 7 hours, I am really excited about it. This game spoke to me. I had a really good time with it, and I think that as long as they continue to go down the line that they've been doing right now, this is going to be one that's probably going to stick around for a while, and that will probably have a very bright future. I'm genuinely curious to see if they'll eventually have big tournaments, since obviously Reynad was big into Hearthstone and there was always big tournaments for that. I want to know if they're going to be doing more like esports wise with this one. I think, again, this is just going to be a great game, especially for people who enjoy the sit down aspect of strategy, figuring out how different builds can work with one another, and even better that you can, again, get up and walk away from it whenever you want without sacrificing any of your stats or getting in trouble for walking away. You know, you can't walk away from a game of Magic the Gathering. You can't walk away from a lot of different games, because if you do, you're going to lose, and it's going to affect you, especially if you're playing ranked. So with a game like this, that kind of accessibility, in my opinion, is the future of gaming again, and just something that I find really cool in the competitive aspect of games like this. As of right now, there isn't really that much more to say about the Bazaar. What I can tell you is it is a very cool game with a lot of very well thought out ideas, and I do believe that this one is going to have staying power. If I were a betting man, I would say that Reynad probably has a pretty good finger on what he wants to see from this game, given his success with Hearthstone and how much he loved that when it was at its peak. So if you've had a chance to play this one, let me know what you think about it in the comments, guys. Let me know who your favorite character is. Let me know what your favorite kind of build is. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see implemented. Like I said before, I would love to see that replay option come back soon. I know that the replay thing is going to be huge moving forward. If you can go back and get the full replay and see how everything's working off of one another, that will be a huge quality of life moving forward. And it's just one of the things I know that they plan on doing. Be that as it may, I hope you enjoyed this first impression review of the Bazaar. I really enjoyed this game, and I love talking about these kind of games, and I love seeing what other people have to think about it. So again, give me your thoughts below. If you're enjoying my content, make sure you subscribe, hit those notifications. You're probably going to see more Bazaar content on this channel as well. If you want to support the channel, Patreon and Coffee are a great way to do it, or you can become a channel member. We actually have our channel members coming in these days, and it's awesome to see some of the first founders for my channel as I continue to make this content on YouTube. You should be able to find all the relevant information in the description of the video, and I'm probably going to end up pinning it in the comments anyway. And if you want, make sure you come back for any of the live streams. You'll probably see the Bazaar, me live streaming it here on YouTube or over on Twitch if you want to join us on Twitch. Otherwise, join the Discord, talk with us about the Bazaar, talk with me about the Bazaar, because I'm going to probably be sucked into this game pretty hard for a while. Huge shout out to all of our supporters. Huge shout out for all of you coming in here and watching this and giving it a look. Make sure you like, make sure you comment again, make sure you subscribe, notifications, all that fun stuff. And I will definitely see you for more game reviews and impressions in the future, and probably a little bit more Bazaar content too as I put more time into it. Take care out there, guys.